Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Quickstart tutorial. So in today's session, I'm going to take you through the all-important process of creating a list building conversion funnel for your business. Now it's really important that you evaluate the performance of your lists. So as you send out particular offers, as you launch products, as you send them to squeeze pages, as you send them to free webinars you're running, you want to be able to track the conversion rates of your list. And I'm going to take you through that system today so that you can know your data, know your analytics, and be able to evaluate the performance of your lists. So let's get started. Now earlier on, Jeff introduced the concept of a blended sequence, which is it's a beautiful thing when it works right. And just to give you a quick recap, basically a blended sequence looks like this. You might have 5 or 6 days of autoresponder messages where you're bonding, you're creating that bond with your prospect, you're building relationship, you're establishing trust, you're sharing some awesome, your best content. As Jeff mentioned, you want to have your best 5 or 6 messages right at the front end of your sequence. And then maybe at that point you might drop in a broadcast, and the broadcast might be starting a product launch sequence. It might be introducing a free membership for them, a special offer of some sort, maybe inviting them to a free webinar. And then at the end of the free webinar, you're going to lead them towards an offer. So for our purposes today, let's say it's a free webinar. So you're inserting a broadcast that you're inviting them to attend a free value-added webinar that you're going to provide for them. And I included this screenshot of the original sequence that Jeff had kind of mapped out on the whiteboard there. And so we want to be able to track our conversion rates of people that are on our list, how many people are actually going to sign up for that webinar. And we want to follow the sequence right through. So the question is, what data do we want to track to evaluate the overall performance of the list? Well, it looks like this. And I'm going to break it down in simple terms. We don't have to overcomplicate this process. And this is a real simple looking funnel. And so basically you have the email broadcast, which is going out to invite people to this webinar. And that's going to take them to a particular landing page where they can opt in. Maybe it's a squeeze page that you've specifically set up for this webinar where you can opt in, where they can opt in to access the webinar information. And then that'll ultimately lead them to a confirmation page. Once they insert their email or their name and email, it will ultimately lead them to a confirmation page where they receive the final details on the upcoming webinar. Okay, so real simple funnel. And let me just walk through some of the analytics that you want to track as you go through this funnel. So as you send out the email broadcast, you want to be able to track the following metrics. And these are your email metrics, which are your open rates. So what did the open rates look like for this particular broadcast? How did they compare to other open rates on other broadcasts you've done in the past? Okay, so really important data. The second metric is click-through rates, CTRs. So of those that opened the email, how many actually click through to go to the webinar page or the squeeze page that you've set up? So you want to be able to see what the performance of that email is once they actually open it. And then unsubscribes. When you sent out this broadcast, was there a unusually high spike in your unsubscribes? Okay, this is good data to figure out. Is this an offer that your list didn't like for whatever reason? So you want to track your unsubscribes and then compare it to other broadcasts that you've sent in the past. All right, so really important metrics: open rates, click-through rates, and unsubscribes. So as we move from the email to the website, so people are actually now clicking through, they're going to the squeeze page, we now want to track our website metrics. And we want to track the behavior of the prospect once they arrive at our particular landing page. And for our purposes today, it's going to be a squeeze page that's inviting them to a webinar. And these are just a sampling of some of the metrics you could track. Unique visitors, the number of unique visitors that are coming to the website, how much time they're spending on the site, bounce rates. So bounce rates evaluate the number of people that are actually exiting that page. And there's all sorts of data that I'm going to show you here in a moment as I walk you through Google Analytics. And so Google Analytics is obviously our recommended tool of choice. There's lots of really high-level website analytics tools you can access, but it's hard to beat the free Google Analytics, and it continues to get better and better over time. And so you want to track the overall behavior of the user once they arrive at your landing page. And then, so those that actually opt into your offer, it's going to lead them to the final confirmation page. And this is where we track conversion metrics. And you want to track the conversion rates of those that landed on the website, how many actually converted to a lead? How many actually opted into this particular webinar we're running? All right. Now, if this is a paid offer, if it's a particular product that you're launching, then you might also track your e-commerce conversions. So Google Analytics has an e-commerce function that allows you to track your earnings per visitor. So this is giving you really good data on how your offer is performing. All right, so those are the 3 different types of metrics that you want to track. You want to go from email metrics to your website metrics to your conversion metrics. And Google Analytics and Aweber's analytic tools kind of work hand in hand to provide the data that you need. Now, to take it a step further, Jeff had talked quite a bit about email split testing, and Profollow has some really great features that allow you to do that. And this is an example of what the conversion funnel might look like if you're using the email split test feature within Profollow. And you can do up to 4, you can send up to 4 messages. I have 3 here. And basically, let's say we're sending 3 different emails and they all have different headlines because we're wanting to see which one opens the best. Or they might have a variation of content within each to see which one ultimately converts the best and drives the most clicks through to the landing page. And so this is an example of what a split test conversion funnel would look like. You know, multiple, you segment the list, you drive them to a landing page, and then, you know, track your results on the back end. And you can take this to a step further and actually have split test the actual landing page. So in a later tutorial, I'm going to show you the Google Website Optimizer tool. And this is a way that you can split test a landing page. So you can send segments of your list to one page or another page to see what page converts the best on the back end. All right, so a lot of different things you can do with split testing, but this is an example of a funnel that you might use. Okay, so for this tutorial, I just wanted to give you an introduction of what a conversion funnel looks like, some of the key metrics that you want to track. So in our next tutorial, I'm going to show you these metrics in action. We're going to go into Aweber as well as Google Analytics and show you some of the key metrics that you can track within these tools. So definitely check out that tutorial after this one today. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you soon.